Good evening. I'd like to call the City of Oldsmar City Council meeting of Tuesday, November 20th, 2018 to order. If you'll please rise for our invocation and our pledge that we led by our city attorney, Mr. Tom Trask.
Heavenly Father, we come humbly before you to ask your divine guidance and help in our deliberations this evening. Bless the members of the council and the citizens that are present. We pray that our work this evening will find favor in your sight. This we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, and once again, welcome. Hopefully you've got your turkey and everything ready to go, or you're like me, you're going out of town and letting somebody else do it, and you're just bringing a fork like I do. So, first and foremost, I want to say a big, huge congratulations to Dan Saraki, who was running for city council unopposed and is now going to be a new city council member in March. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mayor.
Also, a big congratulations to Vice Mayor Eric Seidel, who in March of 2019 will be the City of Oldsmar's new mayor.
I think the mayor was the happiest about being able to say that.
And I got to tell you, running unopposed is a beautiful thing. So.
It definitely is a treat.
Isn't that right, Mr. Beaverland?
I don't want to talk about it.
Well, thank you, and good luck to those that are running. It's a great process. Our first item tonight is our Citizens Open Forum. We only have a couple of rules that you state your name and address clearly for the record. You keep it to no more than 5 minutes, and you can speak towards anything on tonight's agenda. We do not have any public hearing items, so you can address anything on tonight's agenda if you wish now. Having said that, go to this side of the room. Perfect. Go to this side of, oops. Oh, Bryce. Come on.
Come on.
You know how this works.
Are you ready?
Let me see your shorts.
No, I'm okay tonight. First off, I want to thank you as our mayor for the last, how many years?
712.
And congratulate you for everything you've done, and obviously Eric moving in. All I want is to ask for the city of Oldsmar and the golf cart community, which I love, and I'll give this to, would I give it to Kathy or Ann?
I don't know what is it. What do you want to do?
It's the Dunedin flag.
Give it to our city attorney. He's a Dunedin, no. Dunedin lawyer.
I want to create one of these.
Oh, I see where you're going.
But I know we have trademark infringements.
Let me see it.
I don't want to, I wanted to, actually I wanted to.
No, I mean, you could do something like this. This doesn't have our city seal on it.
But I wanted to make.
Who airbrushed all the beer cans out of their hands?
Well, that's why I want it to be better, and I want it to be better than Dunedin,
Oh,
because I'm kind of competitive. So I want ours to be much nicer. I'll pay for them to be made for anybody who wants to buy them.
okay.
I'll sell them for cost, but the city has to kind of, maybe
You're asking for us to create.
our graphic arts department to kind of say, hey, let's do this or let's do that.
That's a cool idea.
I like it. I'll give it to Ann.
Yeah,
Can we have-
pass it around. I just need it back by tomorrow because I'm going to Dunedin for Thanksgiving and I need it on my car.
We won't
I just
tell
need it
them.
back by tomorrow.
Picture of it.
Probably shouldn't have told us
That's a
that.
great idea, Tom.
Good evening, Jerry.
Oh, okay, next, yeah.
Tampa Bay Chamber of Commerce downstairs. Good evening. First off, congratulations, Dan and Eric.
I'm still mayor till March.
Be all right. We wanted to come here tonight because, as you know, we just got done with
Oh,
Oktoberfest.
your 5 minutes is up. Next.
Okay. No glass for you. And as you know, that's a big event for us. It takes about 400 man-hours to run that event because there's only 3 of us downstairs in the chamber. And I just wanted to thank everybody here at the council that came and helped us. You ran the bar one night, which is, as you know, a lot of fun, number one, but it certainly helps us out. But we wanted to give you the 2018 Oktoberfest beer glass, so everybody up there is going to get one of them, okay? Jerry, you want to talk?
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, and also, as you mentioned, in March of next year, we're going to have an election. And Ann has asked us to arrange a candidates forum, which we will on January 8th, if you want to jot that date down. So January 8th in this room, 7 to 8:30 p.m., we'll have a candidates forum. I sent messages out today. The League of Women Voters has accepted. They will be the moderator. And I would like to ask incoming Mayor Seidel and Councilmember Saraki to give a little presentation, a little opening statement for you. And then we'll have questions of the other five remaining candidates for about an hour.
I would be honored. I'm sure the mayor would, or vice mayor.
So mark your dates down. Mark it down, January 8th.
You guys got a quorum, don't you?
I feel bad for you. Have fun.
I'll be back.
Jerry?
Yes, sir.
Could you have them more informed than they was 2 years ago?
We'll try. It's on our website. I know you'll be publishing it. It's already on our website. And I asked Kathy and Ann to proofread it, which they both did, and they both found mistakes that I made.
Well, the last one we had, I don't think they were prepared.
Oh, the League of Women Voters.
Oh, yeah.
That can also be a problem. Yeah.
That was almost a disaster. It really was.
Yeah.
But we appreciate you doing it.
Okay, yeah. I'll tell you what, I sent the email yesterday, and I already got 2 emails from, it's different people than it was last time, I'll tell you
so.
that. And the lady who answered back twice today. So I'm gonna meet with her next week, so they'll be more prepared.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Anybody else just want to run up to the podium? Anybody else that's on this side? I thought I saw another arm. No, nobody? This side? Whoop, uh-oh. Whoa, jeez.
Coming out of the woodwork now, Mayor.
Mayor, council city members, my name is Robbie Broder. I am the community chairman for the Moose Lodge. We are going to have an open house during your golf cart parade from 6 o'clock on. We do a lot of work in the community. This Christmas, we're sponsoring over 30 families in the area for Thanksgiving, supplying with Thanksgiving. We want to continue opening up things through the community to bring more people attention what we do and help out the community as we can.
Cool. Do you have any information or website, or how do you want us to help? I know you were talking to Dan, but.
We're gonna put it on the website, have them put on this community calendar that we're gonna have an open house, open to the community. And also, next month, December 22nd, we have our kids' community Christmas party.
Okay,
So that will also be open to the community.
good, perfect.
All right, thank
Thanks.
you.
Thanks, Rob. Good to see you.
That's December 7th, right, Robbie? December 7th is the open house?
Parade.
Yep, thank you.
Anybody else? Yep. Frank and Army?
Okay, Mr. Mark, I'll state my name for the record. Okay, Mark Brill, 707 South Leaf, Oldsmar. Here tonight to represent the Military Order of the Purple Heart Dunedin chapter, along with fellow members Frank Chicola and chapter commander Mal Klingon. Okay, we'd like to present this plaque to the Mayor Beavis and the City Council as a token of our appreciation for your past and continuing support of the veterans and their families in Oldsmar. If you read, please.
The hits from Dunedin just keep coming tonight.
Yeah, I see that.
The Military Order of the Purple Heart Special Recognition Award is bestowed with pride to the city of Oldsmar, Florida, for your dedication and support honoring America's combat wounded veterans and their family members, presented by the Patriot members of the JFK Chapter 1963, Dunedin, Florida, Military of the Purple Heart.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thanks, thanks.
Hey, Mayor.
Uh-oh, yeah. Thank you. We got a picture coming. Oh, that's cool.
Up there. Nice.
Oh, we got to have Deb. She wants us in front of the field.
Make sure Tom moves.
Yeah, make sure Tom's in the
I'd like
back.
to get people's pictures, obviously.
Wait, are we gonna stand?
One more. Right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Anybody else on that side of the room? Anybody else in the room? Awesome. Next item is the mayor's minute, a couple of recaps and then a couple of upcoming events. The recap is Forward Pinellas. My 2-year term on the board of directors with Forward Pinellas has come to an end. It was an honor to serve on this important board representing Tarpon Springs, Safety Harbor, and Oldsmar. I know it doesn't seem like it, but slowly but surely, from a transportation standpoint, Pinellas County is finally slowly moving forward to try and improve the transportation in our county. The value of veterans, I was honored to be a guest speaker at Nielsen's event celebrating the value of veterans, which also led to the theme of the speech that I gave at the veterans ceremony, which was what does a veteran look like? And, you know, in my mind, it's those old 3 crusty guys in the back is what you picture, but it's not. You know, it's Ann, it's other people that have served, it's Rob, and people like that, people that work in our community, go to our churches, and things like that. There are also homeless vets that are out there too, so it's not your stereotypical veteran that we think of when we think of the veterans, so we need to remember each and every one of those. And again, our annual Veterans Day ceremony, thanks to our staff and Oldsmar Veterans Advisory Board for another stellar event. Ceremony keynote speaker Michael Hill, Director of Pinellas County Veterans Services Department, was a wonderful speaker. The Great American Teach-In, many of our city employees participated in the Great American Teach-In last week. Had a great time myself visiting Buckhorn Elementary School in Valrico for their Great American Teach-In. And it was special because it was my youngest grandson's class, and I could tell you they could care less about me being a mayor at 5 years old. And so I asked them what they wanted to be when they grew up. I got a football player, a lot of teachers, a lot of firefighters, a lot of police. Actually got a philanthropist. What was one of the other ones?
No mayor.
Somebody wanted to be a what's that new game? Fortnite? I don't know how you become a Fortnite, but they wanted to be a Fortnite. And then my
Third night.
yeah, and then my grandson wants to grow up to be a ninja. So doesn't fall far.
Following in your
I was gonna
footsteps.
say, doesn't fall far from the tree. Upcoming events, holiday reminder, our city offices, library, and facilities will be closed Thursday, November 22nd and Friday, November 23rd in observations of Thanksgiving holiday. This is a great event. Our annual tree lighting ceremony is Tuesday, December 4th, 6 p.m. at City Hall. This year we have the Oldsmar Elementary Choir performing some holiday tunes as we watch our Citizen of the Year flip the switch and light our tree. And then it's followed by an exciting city council meeting afterwards. So top off the night with that. That wraps up our Mayor's Minute. Awards and recognitions. This is a presentation of the Council Manager Award for November 2018, and I guess it's Al because he got up and left.
I definitely don't need this, but so I'm told. Hi. Tonight's my honor to give the Council Manager Award for November 2018 to John Garrett Zeliff. Garrett, you want to come up? Coach, you want to come with him? Come on, Coach. Coach.
I don't coach anymore.
Oh, excuse me. There's no check, but
Thank you, sir.
the respect of a grateful nation. Hi, Coach. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good to see you. She actually gave up teaching a class tonight to be here. All right. Sorry. My thoughts about this award is that it should recognize someone for their contributions to the community, and especially in this case, through his work for the organization. He may not have ever received specific accolades for one of the multitude of things he has done for the city. He was nominated for the City Manager's Impact Award once, but his accomplishments are impressive, and I feel it's time to publicly acknowledge that. Please indulge me. This will involve a little bit of history. Cindy and I hired him as a management analyst in the Administrative Services Department on October 22nd, 2012. Garrett, as he prefers to be called, has been with us for 6 years now. He does have several nicknames: G, GZ, or my favorite, G-Funk. It is generally known that if you're on my team, you know you are in the family once you get your first nickname, or whenever I start calling you by your last name, which also occasionally happens. In one case, we even called somebody by her email handle, which is Swinkler, Sandy Winkler. Garrett very quickly got his first nickname, which is a very good sign. Also, a bit of irony here in that nicknaming is an old coaching technique which relates to sports, and of course, sports may be the only subject that Garrett knows very little about. And happily so, I might add. Anyway, to frame the rationale for my decision in giving the award to Garrett, allow me to continue the sports metaphor theme, not just because it most appropriately describes why he is so valuable to this team, but also because he will likely be the only one in the chamber that won't understand the reference. And as you can tell, that amuses me. When we hired him 6 years ago, we knew he was bright. Administrative Services gives a written test for every position we hire, and GZ got the highest grade ever achieved by anyone who has ever taken it. Another good sign. He was 25 years old, possessed a master's degree, MPA from Florida State. We won't hold that against him. And we felt quite fortunate to have found somebody this intelligent. How on earth does this kid not have a job? Sorry?
Good question.
Yeah. I know you were asking it too. Little did we know what else we were getting. Garrett has redefined what it means to be a management employee. I have never, in my entire career in government, been around anyone who has a greater range of skills that can contribute towards the successful completion of management's organizational mission than he has, to wit. On the day before his 3-month anniversary, Garrett was asked to become our half-time sustainability coordinator due to operational needs. How did we know that he had this skill set? In the short time he had been here, he was already actively involved with our sustainability efforts from the finance side, and his easygoing, anything-you-need approach to teamwork convinced the people in Public Works that he would be a great next sustainability coordinator, so they asked. Truth be told, it was a ploy on the part of the former Public Works director to try and steal him from us and convince him to become the next full-time sustainability coordinator. We weren't going to allow that to happen, and as you can see, it didn't. We in Administrative Services are all about teamwork between departments, but only up to a point. In small governments, or in any government, in any small organization, flexibility is vital to the successful organizational mission. This selfless act of team spirit was award-worthy in its own right, but it isn't even close to explaining all of what he has done for the organization since he's been here. Oh yeah, by the way, he did both jobs without a pay increase for about 5 months and nailed it. He did an outstanding job in both capacities. His achievements section of his first evaluation read like a who's who list. This millennial is a keeper. In the year or so that followed, his performance as the full-time management analyst was exemplary, and he helped us bring some clarity and definition to the position, something that had been lacking. He single-handedly researched, organized, and produced our first administrative policy manual. He was actively involved in our PCI compliance efforts, which is an IT project. He became the go-to member of the department for budget questions, which assisted us in achieving our first GFOA Distinguished Budget Presentation Award. Perhaps most significantly needed, he literally took over the finance responsibilities for all grant awards, organizing all the files for existing grants along the way. Something that the auditor appreciated and documented documented in his comments for the year when that was finished. Another thing that we had never been able to achieve before. He also systematically organized the entire stats or statistical section of the annual financial report, finally making the annual updating process easy and efficient. Another thing we had never been able to do. His contributions have been endless, and the few mentioned here were just within his first 2 years. In June of 2015, Garrett's skill set landed him another additional duty assignment, this time as the interim executive assistant because of an employee retirement. Once again, in addition to his management analyst duties, but this time at least we gave him a little bit more money. And once again, for the 3+ months that he performed both job duties, he nailed it. Also now, for the first time, he had a personnel management responsibility to supervise several employees. The Director of Administrative Services at the time, me, is starting to catch on here. We need to keep this guy around. He makes us all better. Sports metaphor, he won't understand. So on October 1 of 2015, we promote him to budget and financial analyst. He has already contributed to every process we have in administrative services, including but not limited to payroll, IT, HR, grants, research, operating and capital budgeting, annual audit, and investment. In this new position, we add another couple of employees to his direct supervisory responsibilities and ask him to take over the production of the actual budget documents proposed in final, operating, and capital. GZ's response, no problem. Again, the achievement section of his next evaluation reads like a book, with one especially career-altering project having been added to it. He spearheaded the completion of our city pay and benefits study, saving the city between $20,000 and $30,000 by performing the work in-house, enabling us to avoid the costly and inefficient process of hiring an outside consultant. I hope the picture is rapidly evolving here. This boy has serious skills. It is also about this time that I asked him to start helping me with investment research, which is something I had been doing solo for a very long time. I think I could speak for both of us in that it is probably the favorite part of our job even to this day, and another check mark on the long list of this guy's skill set. More and more evidence that the limits to his skill set never end. Next chapter, on October 1, 2017, I become the city manager, for better or worse. Cindy becomes the director of administrative services, marking the second time that she's had to replace herself. Now we need a new finance administrator. Guess who? Enter GZ. We are working on a reorg plan in the department, so we named Garrett interim finance administrator. You know what that means, additional duties again. In February 2018, with an assist from Ratliff, I can't remember her first name. Amy, sorry. There's something that we got to laugh, sorry, my bad. We addressed the tremendous additional workload by creating an accounting administrator and removed the interim from Garrett's job title, naming him the permanent finance administrator. In case you thought we were done, no. On June 1st, 2018, our beloved HR administrator suffers an instantly career-ending injury. So who do we call on? You guessed it. With zero notice, quite literally, Garrett now takes on the additional duties of being the human resources administrator. Add payroll, grievances, hiring, dealing with benefits to the list of duties for our man GZ. And once again, he nails it. I'm asking around because we assume the hiring process will be the hardest thing to maintain, given the time it takes to interview for openings, test applicants, perform background checks, etc. To a person, every single department director says that we are humming along and they don't feel as if there's been any delays. Absolutely incredible. So this award, in my mind, is for Garrett creating a position, perhaps unknowingly, that may not exist anywhere else. Let's call it the ultimate manager, the unimanager, the ultimanager, at a technical level or higher if you need them. Garrett has held the following titles in the 6 years he has been here: management analyst, sustainability coordinator, budget and financial analyst, interim finance administrator, and interim human resources administrator. I do not know another earthly being who could handle all of the above jobs, let alone excel at every single one of them. He is a vital part of our team, has far surpassed anything I could have ever hoped for when we hired him. His work ethic is off the charts. It must run in the family. His wife, Mindy, holds 2 teaching jobs, high school and college, and coaches in her spare time, although she just told us she no longer coaches. Oh yeah, and she runs marathons too. Professionally, Cindy has raised him right. He may have skills we don't know about yet, but he better not he better hope we don't find out about what they are, because we might make him do more work, although I'm not sure that's possible. The sky's the limit for this young man. He will be an incredible manager if he wants to be. His best character trait has not even been mentioned. You will not find an easier guy to be around. He is great with people. In my mind, that's the best thing you can have in a fellow teammate. Difficult situations, doesn't matter. He's always easy to be around. So please help me in congratulating John Garrett Zila for winning this long overdue award. The best sports analogy you can make about a teammate is something his wife once said about him that I saw on Facebook, and I mentioned it previously. Garrett makes everybody around him better. Truer words have never been spoken. Well done, G. Make it fast, because they're all mad at me for talking so long.
He's going to outmatch you.
Well, thank you, Al. I very much appreciate those kind words. I'm just going to make a couple of edits here. You might have covered a couple of the things I was going to talk about.
Nobody can even read your hand.
I know the fabric of this community and the city is filled with excellent and highly qualified individuals and businesses. So I really do value and appreciate what this award means. Ever since I received the invitation letter from our esteemed Deputy City Clerk, Kathy Horvath, I've been thinking about all the wonderful and exciting things that have happened both personally and professionally. Over the last 6 years, I've had the privilege of working for this great city. The best way I've been able to summarize my professional experience is this. It's been like the ideal relationship with a spouse or a significant other. It's making Al a little uncomfortable right now. This employer-employee relationship has been built on trust, respect, mutual growth, honesty, and communication. All things you'd value in an employer and obviously a spouse or a significant other. And to wrap this up here, it also never hurts if you find the city you work for or your spouse to be stunningly beautiful. Really, all I have to say is thank you. Thank you to the council. Thank you to Al and Cindy and all my colleagues. I really appreciate it.
Al, Garrett has also accomplished something else.
Get his plaque.
In the last 6 years, he has grown a magnificent mustache and beard,
Taking over for Tom.
and he's very friendly.
Okay, make another picture.
Yeah, there's one too many mustaches in that picture, Tom.
He's legal counsel material. Congratulations, sir.
And that pretty much wraps up the meeting for the night. We're out of time. Congratulations. I thought he was going to work a sports analogy in there and just flip you out.
He wouldn't know how to.
I know he wouldn't, but it's fun to think about. We have nothing in the CRA. Our next is our consent docket. We have a couple of items, except the resignation of Jessica Bennett, ex officio team member from the Leisure Services Advisory Board. Approved professional services agreement with DRMP Incorporated for construction and engineering and inspection services for the Burbank Road Extension Project pursuant to 2018-006 RFQ. Authorize the city manager to advertise 2019-001 ITB construction of Burbank Road Extension, FPN 439418-1-54-01. Approve the payment to legal counsel and approve the tentative agenda for December 4th, 2018. If nobody wishes to pull anything, I need a motion.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
And one comment,
Okay. Did you vote?
number 4.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was going to ask, do we have a time frame on that, do we think? Or an updated time frame?
Oh, we got to do the bid first. I don't
Oh.
know if Ben's got a guess, but it's a good sign. It means we're on the way to sinking a shovel.
Good. Next is the City of Oldsmar. approving the appointment of Jonathan Phillips as alternate member of the planning board. Is Jonathan here? Yep, I thought that was you. Come on up. Well, thank you. And as part of the process, especially somebody that's possibly new before us, we try and have you come so we can meet you and find out a little bit about you. And then also thank you for being a volunteer. I say this every time, that we have almost as many volunteers as we have employees, which is what makes it our job so much easier as a city to do, because a lot of the things that we do get vetted through our different boards, and it's very important. Tell us a little bit about yourself and where you're from and why you want to be a part of the city.
Sure. Appreciate you, first of all, for having me and electing me as an alternate for the planning board. I've lived in 5 states in my whole life, and that 4 of them in the past 11 years. So born and raised in Massachusetts, 34 years, and then the past 11 or so years traveling around the United States, and settled here in Tampa.
Awesome.
And my wife is an excellent researcher throughout those years of traveling with my son, and she found the city of Oldsmar all by herself, and it's an excellent, beautiful city and special place. So glad to be a part of it and happy to be here.
What brought you to want to be on the planning board or be on a board? It's interesting to see how people volunteer.
I've always been in, I've been in construction and real estate for all my life. So love real estate and land and construction. So that's
Good
planning
fit.
board is a good fit, and wanted to be part of a community and a city. So I looked online and first I volunteered, and went to Oldsmar all days and helped out wherever I could. Just and love the city. So
Awesome. Well, kudos to your wife for finding Oldsmar for you.
yeah, she's awesome.
Share that.
Ladies love diamonds.
It's a diamond in the rough, exactly.
That's right. So the diamond in the rough. But is tonight song night or dance night?
I think this one's song, the next one's dance.
So if you have a song, feel free to.
I'll get back to you on the next meeting.
Okay. Good. Oh,
Happy Thanksgiving to everyone.
Thank you. It's only, and you're only an alternate, so. That's right.
See, I'm not a true,
We'll add this to your resume moving
thank you.
forward. Remember this when he wants to go for full member.
Right.
Full
All
member.
right.
Okay.
Thanks. I need a motion.
So move.
Second.
Any other questions? Thank you again.
Thank you.
I'll just say that
Sure.
the success of a city is the planning of the city.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and we've done a pretty
Thank
good
you,
job.
Jerry. Thank you, Doug.
Yep.
Thank you, Eric.
Yep.
Appreciate
All
it.
those in favor? Aye. Thank you. Welcome aboard. Next, I don't know about this one.
This is a tough one, Mr. Mayor. This is definitely the dance one, though.
Yeah. Approve moving Katie Gannon from an alternate member to a regular member of the Leisure Services Advisory Board.
Is she here?
I think that.
It's bittersweet though, because the only reason I'm moving from an alternate to a full member of the Leisure Services Board is because Gator had to resign his position. So
That's unfortunate. Yeah. But
So did you bring a poem?
I did not bring a poem. I'll be sure to next time. Gosh, you guys spring that on folks like
how
that.
many meetings have you been to?
As many as possible.
That's exactly right. Well, we appreciate that, and you're right. That is a bittersweet thing to.
Yeah.
We haven't lost Gator, but he's. From what I understand, he's holding court over it where they're living now.
Recently elected to the head of the residence.
Putting them in line. So, at any rate,
Not surprised.
questions for Katie? If not, need a motion.
So move.
Second.
Second.
Any comments?
Nope.
Oh,
Got anything, Jerry?
Thank you for your service.
one time I look at him, he's got nothing. So, all those in favor? Aye. Passes. I have nothing. Thank you again. Next is the graduation of our 2018 Janice Miller Citizens Academy class. And I will turn that over to our deputy clerk and our city clerk. And I guess me, I don't know.
Get back down.
Kathy and I really look forward to the Citizens Academy graduation almost as much as we look forward to actual Citizens Academy and getting to meet residents and learning with them more about the city. This program was started by Janice Miller so that people could know more about what their government is doing, where the money is going, what we're planning, and stuff like that. And you do learn quite a bit. Since it started, it's grown to 9 weeks. Next year, we're going to go 11 weeks. We're adding a history night and a night to introduce the nonprofit groups and volunteer opportunities. So it's a wonderful thing. We feed you, get beautiful polo shirts. It's free, and it's on Thursdays. And we do have applications in the back. If anybody's interested, just let us know, and we'll add you to the list. But it's we don't even advertise it anymore, well, except for right now, because it's pretty popular. So we'll go ahead and get started with our Citizens Academy graduates. I'll call your name. Mayor Beavis will present you with your certificate, and if you could please stay up here for a group photo afterwards, that'd be excellent. Eileen Brill. Yay. Mark Brill. Buckman. Clark. Clark. Barbara Dyer. Nikki Eisel. Katie Gannon. Hastings. Mary Ellen Hastings. David Height. T.C. Height. Andrew Knapp. Mimi, who couldn't make it tonight, but we call her name. Jessica Opid. Mary Ann Saminsky. Frederick Stock. Gail Stroud. And Tina Stroud. We're going to have to squish.
Yeah, you're the back.
Yeah, you're in the back. Come on in.
Short people in the front.
Squisheroo. Kathy and I are both.
Layers.
Squeeze and layer.
I think you're in it, no matter what.
Down here, they want to see me.
Oh, you can hide right there.
Right. Yeah.
Catherine. Mayor.
Squish in some more over on this side. You guys have to stick. You can move up a little, and then you move up a little, or maybe you in the back. Yeah, you're a little bit smaller, but you guys squish in.
Playing the role of bit only inspiration.
Yeah, you guys will tell the difference in the photos, unfortunately. If everyone could look my direction, it's not gonna work. Okay, everyone's looking my direction because I actually can't see. Smile. Okay. Keep smiling.
Smile more.
Yay.
You got it, Tom?
Yeah. So, would anybody like to say anything about your experience?
I just want to thank the both of you for running it and putting it on. You guys did a fantastic job, and you made it a lot of fun. So thank you. Kudos to them.
Exactly.
I'll say I really enjoyed all the presentations, especially Chips. He did a really good presentation, but I will say I think my favorite was meeting the fire department. Sorry. Jaws alive.
Wow, what a surprise.
Jaws alive.
So close, Chip.
Yeah.
Hold you up, Chip, and
You don't have a fire hose.
That's okay.
And a big thank you to Kathy and Ann for all the work that they put in to do this. This is the 11th Janice Miller Citizens Academy, and we know Janice is looking down on us. And after March, I'll have some free time, so maybe I'll be able to sign up for the Citizens Academy.
There you go.
Patients in the back.
Well, it's a lot more fun now than it was when I did it. I was like class of two. Yeah, it was in black and white. I do want to thank the Green Market Cafe, the restaurants that helped with us, Famous Pizza, Oldsmar Barbecue, Cuban Breezes, Chef Lee's Chinese Cuisine, Casa Costanza, Rumba's Island Bar and Grill, Jersey Mike's, and My Greek Corner. I'm sure you guys would agree. I made it to a couple of nights. I'm not sure which ones I ate, but it's great. It makes it worthwhile. We know that, you dedicate your time, and the least we can do is give you a little food. Although as late as this meeting's going tonight. Did you bring any food for us?
I'll run out, come back.
No, congratulations. It is great. And we hope that as an alumni now, you share what you learned with other citizens, because even being on council and then being the mayor, I didn't really have a feeling for what all goes on in the city. And I'm sure my fellow alumni would agree with that you really don't know what goes on to the day-to-day runnings of a city. Things you don't necessarily see, problems you don't necessarily know of, but believe it or not, sometimes we rely on our alumni to help us fight some of the fires that go on in the city, so to speak, with what residents might say, and you can kind of educate them on that. So you're helping us help the city, so thank you for that. Next is our city attorney.
I have two issues for you tonight, two agenda items. The first agenda item is with regard to the property that the city owns between the addresses of 303 and 305 Fairfield Street. It's my understanding back in 1997, the city received a parcel of land. It's 1 foot wide, 124 feet deep. And on that parcel of land, there is some encroachments by each of these property owners, the property owner at 303 and the property owner at 305. To resolve those disputes between the property owners and the encroachments on the city property, the city manager and assistant city manager have been successful in basically getting these two property owners to agree to take ownership of 6 inches of each of the property. In return for $10 each, the city manager is asking for authority and approval to execute the 2 quitclaim deeds conveying these 6 inches to Julia and Eugene Ryabanoff and Tara Caudell. So that's what it's here for you tonight, is to give your authorization for the execution of these 2 quitclaim deeds, to give these 6-inch properties to these 2 property owners, to avoid the city being involved in ownership of this property and further disputes between these 2 property owners.
Need a motion?
I do, for discussion.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Motion and a second. And can I ask, and I don't know if this is the case on this, I know surveying methods over the years have changed and benchmarks have changed. Is that probably what happened in this case, that you had different legal descriptions that didn't quite close and make a complete thing and left that 1 foot vacated to some extent? Is that the short version?
That's probably the biggest possibility of what happened. When you have surveyors using benchmarks on opposite sides of the town and moving towards the center, there is sometimes a gap. That could have been the reason why. I really don't know.
That was the reason why.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uncalled for.
Yeah.
We have another problem over on near Lafayette, but we won't talk about that one. In fact of the matter is, these benchmarks were made way back yonder, and we may have other problems similar to this one on other property owners next to this one. Let's hope we don't. But on Lafayette, we had the same thing.
Yeah.
Bad. We owned some land on Lafayette at one time, and they came over. I lost 10 foot.
Well, that's different.
because it's the same thing. And
I didn't
went
even think
down
you were
to-
that tall, Jerry.
Yeah, I was gonna say, right.
I went down to my neighbor and I told him, you got a real problem. He built his house 1 foot on the other property.
That's really what can be the bigger problem is, and I've seen that happen. I've done civil engineering for many years, and you see where that does tend to happen sometimes.
Well, these benchmarks go back to the 30s.
Yeah.
But I'll say what I said in the beginning, this should have been handled immediately, and it could have been handled immediately without all the confusion we've had.
Yeah, well, we're resolving it.
Good way to resolve it.
Yeah, plus we don't have a 1 foot wide mower, so we gotta let them take care of it, so. We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion on this? All those in favor?
Yes.
Aye. Passes 5-0.
Thank you. The next item number 11, is approved settlement agreement between the City of Oldsmar and Argos USA LLC. Give you a little bit of background on this. As you know, that the city had a concrete batch plant for a number of years here in the city, and the city code changed, the zoning code changed relative to the parcel of property that the cement batch company was operating on. It was changed to a C3, and it made it illegal for there to be any further concrete production within the city. Because this property owner, Vulcan, was in existence and operating, he became a legal non-conforming use. That legal non-conforming use stayed in place until that business stopped operating in September of 2014. In that time frame, another cement batch company bought the property and sought a business tax receipt. Under your code, though, it provides that if there is an abandonment of the property for 90 days or greater, that the legal non-conforming use is lost. We took the position here in the city that this concrete company could not operate because of the fact that they were a non-conforming use at this point. Subsequent to that, there was the threat of litigation, and there was a several count complaint that had been provided to the city in which the concrete company was suggesting that they would sue the city if the city did not allow them to operate their concrete plant. Over the next couple of months, my office, through my partner, Jay Daigneault, was successful in negotiating a settlement so that the city would not have to deal with that lawsuit. The settlement agreement is the one that's attached and is being asked for, I'm asking for your authority to execute it. Would basically allow the cement company to continue on in existence for 7.5 years, and then it would stop operating as a cement company. Then they would have to use the property for some other purpose. So you're ultimately getting the property in conformity with the land development code, but it's just going to take 7.5 years to do that. Otherwise, we'd litigate this case. There is a possibility that we would win. There is a possibility that we would lose. But that litigation would probably take a couple of years to complete, and it would expose the city to attorney's fees and court costs. And I think that this is a good resolution. And I'm asking for your authority to have the city manager execute the settlement agreement. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have, and I know that Maria is here in the audience too.
Would you like to add anything before we?
No, I think the town
Okay.
explained it well.
I'll make a motion.
For discussion, motion?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any questions?
Well, I got a lot of comments. Bear with me. We have 2 concrete plants in this city, not just one. This damn plant has been out of operation for 20 years, almost 20 years. Why wasn't it? Why couldn't we say it was abandoned? Now, these people bought it in 2014. Why couldn't we say it was abandoned before that? I go by this plant every week, 2 or 3 times a week, because this is how I get to Tampa Road. That thing hasn't been in operations for almost 20 years. And I'd like to know why a permit was given to them, and who found the damn permit that they needed. There hasn't been anything going on there for 15, 18 years.
And to that point, Tom, just for clarity, or Al, there was a building permit issued and a final inspection. And when roughly were those done?
2015, and the final inspection was for replacing the silo.
And that was after the plant was purchased by the new owner.
That's correct.
They didn't replace the silo. It's still there. The same silo's been there for 15 years or 18 years.
And so did we issue the business tax receipt after the 90 days that we considered it to be abandoned?
No. We
Excuse
didn't. No, we did not issue a business tax receipt. That's the purpose of basically all of this taking place. They came to us and they said, we want to open up our business again. And we said, no, you're not going to open up your business again because of the fact that it's not a conforming legal use now. It's a non-conforming use. And then that started the discussion relative to tell us and prove to us that you've been operating continuously. They couldn't do that. They provided us with some information. We don't believe it's sufficient enough to show that they were operating in that 90-day period of time. And so we told them we were not going to issue the business tax receipt, which years ago used to be called an occupational license.
Well, tell them why they're suing us.
Well, they're not.
Well, they could. They have no intentions of. One of y'all tell them why. They have no intentions of opening that place right now. They're banking.
Yeah, they're banking
on the
Rays.
Rays Stadium.
Right.
Well, as a
don't
business,
get
you
any
may
of
do the
this.
same thing. Cost of concrete.
And can I ask this question? And I know we've talked about it. I talked about it with Al. And I understand Jerry's point, and I guess I could see some concern that while they may not have physically been driving cement trucks in and out and producing concrete, they may have been working there in an administrative capacity or managerial capacity.
They haven't. They haven't.
Do we know that for a fact?
Yes. Yes, that can be proven.
Okay. I don't know that. Do we know that?
We don't have that information to show. We know that we had issued the occupational licenses and business tax receipts to the prior company all the way up through 2014, when we had sent out our regular notices to the company that it's time to renew. They notified us by way of a letter that they are no longer going to operate within the city of Oldsmar, and that they did not need an occupational license or business tax receipt. So that's when we started counting the 90 days from that notification, 90 days out. Of course, the new company comes in and says, yes, we were operating there. We didn't have cement trucks coming and going, but we had other things happening there. We didn't think that that was sufficient enough to show that they were actually operating, but knowing that this is a factual situation that a judge or a jury is going to have to decide, and knowing that there is a significant exposure to the city under this civil rights lawsuit that they were talking about filing, that we thought that it would be best to try to come to an agreement as to how long they could operate, and then it would stop automatically. That was our intention anyhow. So they would be able to do it for 7.5 years. And frankly, if they don't have the business, I don't frankly see them operating at all. But this was a way of settling that claim.
So clearly you feel like our exposure is considerably more than the $75,000. So is it council's advice that we settle this?
So they have, the claim is $75,000, but the way it works then is if they can show that their due process was violated, and there is some other argument that they weren't able to complete a business transaction, and as a result of that business transaction, they lost profit of whatever, and let's just say they had a $10 million contract with a company, and they're going to make $3 million on that $10 million contract, then that's their damages, $3 million on that particular count. So we don't know that, but we know that the exposure is great.
Even the exposure to find out that we didn't, that.
Yeah, the exposure is great because of the fact that we're going to be litigating it, and we're going to have, the attorneys that are going to be defending it. Then there's going to be the discovery, and then ultimately the lawsuit having be tried in federal court, because that's where this case would be filed, would be in federal court.
Could be in federal court.
Yeah, 4 of them are federal cases, correct?
Yeah, so once again, I'll ask the same question. Is it council's recommendation that we settle it?
That's our recommendation, to settle the case by way of allowing the company to remain in existence for 7.5 years, and then they're going to have to shut their doors. I would remind you, though, that there is a 1-year extension or option available under certain factual situations that would possibly be exercised. And that's what we call the extension option in paragraph 2 of the settlement agreement.
Okay, I understand all this, and I understand the liability that could come before us, but I'm upset that the damn thing hasn't been in operation for over 15 years, and why would we issue a permit? How come we knew we had to issue a permit? Who caught them trying to rebuild the silo that they did not rebuild? Why was there a permit given?
According to the inspection, they did rebuild it.
No, they didn't.
Well, somebody
And
apparently.
I've been driving by that damn thing for 20 years.
But you know, there's another point to consider in all this as well. Regardless of whether it was an operation or not, there's no requirement per se for somebody to own a business or some type of a private property in the city and be required to use it, right?
Oh, no, well,
No, let me finish.
No.
No, I have the floor right now. What changed was when we changed, okay? So we changed what could be done over there, but they already owned it. So there is some issue of property rights that I would see are legitimate.
I disagree.
That's fair. You could disagree, but I think it's not completely unreasonable. I have one other question. Do we have, that you're aware of, any other similar exposures and other situations out there like this that potentially this could trigger people moving forward?
Yeah, another concrete plant.
Well, no, it's a non-conforming use issue is what it is.
But do we have any in this situation that you're aware of?
I'm not aware of any other ones that there would be possible exposure to the city. There are obviously other properties, both residential and commercial, that could fit into this situation because of a change in the zoning code. But the exposure here is clear to me, and in reviewing the lawsuit and understanding the facts in this case. And that the unfortunate part about this whole thing is that we issued the permit for that silo to be put in place, and that's part of the bad fact situation that we have. And
The final inspection was signed off, so.
All right.
And they never rebuilt the silo.
And I guess I'm not a construction guy.
I understand.
And I don't know if, when you say replace, I mean, maybe visually from the outside, it doesn't look like it, but maybe from the internally, maybe they had to rebuild the internal. I'm not defending anything, but there was an inspection site, a report signed off on, so whether when you're pumping concrete through there.
But they weren't pumping concrete, okay? Did you all inspect it?
Well,
after
Ray, can you come up, so we're not?
so just to tell you what it is, I think the facts would show that they brought in this huge metal silo. It was set on its side on the property. The code enforcement officer, or correct me if I'm wrong now, Marie, the code enforcement officer saw this thing sitting on the property and said to the property owner, you need a building permit to install that. Come to the city and apply for a building permit. They did come to the city and apply for the building permit. It was given to them. They did in fact set the silo up straight. It is set in place. It was inspected, and it was
inspected?
Yeah.
It was signed off on.
It was signed off.
Signed off on it?
She doesn't.
Well,
The building official does.
The building, and they actually signed
But
off
the
on it?
silo doesn't mean they were necessarily going to operate a concrete plant with that. You can have silo and it's not a concrete
Understand
plant.
that. What I'm asking is, if you issued a permit, did you follow up on it? Did you okay the way whatever the permit required?
I believe the building official approved it.
I don't want to believe.
Well, there's a signed off, there's a signed off report.
Final inspection.
See the sign off. I understand the problems here, and I don't want to put the city in jeopardy, but I want to see that signed off
It was.
document.
I'll show it to you.
Hey, Tom, I know we need to move on, but just real quick, what's the risk on the opposite side of having this non-conforming business that may never operate in the next 7.5 years?
It sits there.
It sits there. I mean, that's the risk versus millions of dollars a lawsuit. For me, that's an easy vote. I just want to make sure that's what we're comparing.
Yeah, it could either sit there and no activity occur, or they could start it up tomorrow. And then you have the trucks coming and going every single day.
Do we have anything in place that a particular building sits there for 20 years and they can just start it up after 20 years? Do we have that in place?
If it becomes a non-conforming situation.
It's the use. It has to be used. And so if nothing happens, then that use could be argued to have been abandoned. And
Okay.
that was our argument in the beginning is that they weren't using it. They couldn't provide us with documentation showing that they were using it. And so we denied their business tax receipt.
Okay, I know this is probably going to pass, and I'll probably vote for it to pass.
I think we had a similar situation. Was it a car repair place over on Bayview that became, what do you call it? Dormant, whatever.
On Bayview?
They abandoned their.
Abandoned.
Yeah.
And they came and we denied it, so.
See, to me, it's just aggravating that thing's sitting there for 20 years, and then all of a sudden somebody buys it after whatever in 2013 or whatever. I'm aggravated that we're in this position. I mean, I will support the motion, but I'm still aggravated, and I still would like to see where that was signed off.
Okay, that's easy enough. And to your concern, and I think to Vice Mayor Seidel's comment, doesn't have to happen overnight, but it would be interesting to, over time, find out if there are potentially other non-conforming uses that are sitting dormant that maybe we haven't started the 90-day clock on them, which I guess in this one we wouldn't have until the business tax receipt thing. I don't know what triggers us knowing that it's sitting there dormant. Or abandoned, as you said.
It could be a bunch of different ways. It could be a code enforcement officer seeing it. It could be a city employee seeing it. It could be them coming in and saying, I'm no longer going to operate there. It could be any number of things that would bring it to our attention.
Well, let me ask you this. Can the other cement plants just start up anytime it wants?
So this one has the opportunity, once the settlement agreement is that it would be.
Well, how about the other one? It's been sitting there for over 20 years, abandoned.
I don't know what other one you're talking about.
That's the one that.
Up in
Douglas?
Cypress Lakes Industrial Park, they have been operating because we had approached them, and you say, you're not, doesn't look like you're doing any business. This is a few years ago. Property owner wanted to acquire that to redevelop it, and they said, no, we're working there. And they were.
And just for clarity, is that a slightly different situation because is that?
It's non-conforming as well.
That is a non-conforming, okay.
Okay. Anyway, we just need to go on, I
I think
guess.
it's more for clarity than this particular issue, but I think we need to understand, so. Any other comments? We have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 5-0, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Tom.
That's all I have.
City manager.
Mayor, item 12 is authorize city manager to advertise 2019-003 ITB construction of the Oldsmar Sports Complex roller street hockey rink. On August 7th, 2018, the Oldsmar City Council approved a cooperation and license agreement between the city and the Lightning Foundation Incorporated, which outlined the general terms and conditions behind the planned construction of an outdoor roller street hockey rink in the city. On November 6, 2018, the Oldsmar City Council approved a revised agreement, updating terms of the original, clarifying the roles of each party, and specifying the dollar amount of the foundation contribution to the project.
For discussion, need a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any comments, questions, concerns?
Ready?
Sooner the better.
Build it, yeah.
I'm ready to build it.
Swing hammers.
Swing, yes. Hockey sticks. All those in favor?
Aye.
Passes 5-0.
Wait a minute.
Oh,
We need Lightning hockey shirts.
Oh, nice.
Shirts. What is up with that?
No, right up front. We need Lightning hockey shirts, every one of us,
okay. With our names on the back.
with our names on the back.
Oh, I like that.
Too much taxpayer money.
That's it.
No, they do it.
I'm
They
big
do.
on shirts.
Part of the
I think
agreement.
that's an ethics complaint. I don't
Not
know.
yet, they don't.
Hey, you walk into his office, that's all you see,
That's true.
is hockey items. You ought to be able to get his shirts. You know the guy.
Are we done? Can we move
He
on?
does.
I know he does.
He's planting the seed.
Thank you, Mayor. Item 13 is select locate, oops, sorry, wrong. My bad. Item 13, if we can find it, involves a parade.
I love a parade.
Approve the addition of a golf cart parade to the Christmas Wonderland event on December 7th, 2018, and waive the City of Oldsmar Code of Ordinances, Section 66-106's requirement requiring golf cart registration during the event. With the recent rise in the popularity of golf carts in Oldsmar, members of the community have approached city staff requesting the addition of a golf cart parade to coincide with the annual Christmas Wonderland event at RE Olds Park on Friday, December 7th, 2018. The event is proposed to be a city-sponsored event led by the Leisure Services staff. The event will begin at 6 p.m. with staging at 4 p.m. All cart owners must be registered for the event, pay a $10 entry fee, and sign a rules acknowledgement form. The number of carts permitted in the parade will be limited to 200. The length of the route, just under a half a mile. It is also requested that we waive the City of Oldsmar Code of Ordinances, Section 66-106, that requires golf cart registrations between the hours of 4 and 9 p.m. on December 7th, 2018. Staff recommends approval.
Motion?
Moved.
Second?
Second.
Just for discussion purposes, I was involved in this a little bit at the beginning and made some suggestions. The reason the city got involved in, I'm Reader Digesting it, is because the way it was being presented prior to us getting involved probably would not have been approved. Is that safe to say?
Well, I can't speak
And
for the
why?
council, but
Right.
because it was a neighborhood thing and it wasn't a legal entity asking for a special events permit, that would have added a layer of difficulty to it because we would have required them to have insurance and it would have been some additional cost. So we thought it made more sense, since we recognized the popularity of golf carts, to.
That it was going to happen anyway.
I mean, there's going to be cost associated with it. And
You know
to the
why?
vice mayor's point,
Because everyone loves a parade.
Yeah, everybody loves it.
so.
And people have wanted to do this for years.
Oh, I know. Well, it's good to finally get the procedure done.
No, I
right.
agree 100%. I
One,
think it
one
makes
thing why it was.
great sense.
One of my sons that I lost, he was probably the first golf cart driver in town. He had a golf cart 20 years ago that he operated because he was almost blind and he couldn't have a car. One of the reasons why I supported it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a great addition
Exciting.
to our winter wonderland for sure, so.
May I have a question?
Yes.
I don't own a golf cart.
You can ride with me.
Maybe Tom will let
Are we
you.
allowed like ride our bikes maybe? No bikes?
No.
Okay.
You could get out in front and we could chase you.
Dan,
I'm picturing it now.
blunt answer right there.
All right.
No bicycles.
Any other things you'd like to ask of me,
No,
Dan?
it's
Not after
fun.
that.
No, you can't drive your Volkswagen in it, and no, there's not gonna be food. All right, motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
5-0.
Thank you, Mayor. Item number 14 is select location of a Purple Heart monument to be installed at Veterans Memorial Park. During the summer and fall of this year, the Leisure Services Department and the Veterans Advisory Board discussed several possible locations for a Purple Heart monument in Oldsmar. The possible locations are in your packet. The recommendation of the majority of the Veterans Advisory Board that was present at that meeting was location number 2, the Veterans Memorial Park Midway, along the south side of the promenade. After a special meeting with much discussion, that's what they voted to recommend option 2, and we're waiting for council approval or council decision.
I make a motion, the council does too.
I'm sorry?
The council accepts the number 2 location.
Second?
Motion and a second. Any other discussion?
I trust their decisions.
I do too.
Yep, me too.
All those in favor?
Aye.
That's good.
Thank you, Mayor. Item 15, waive bid requirements and award Pace Analytical Services, Inc., the environmental laboratory testing services contract, utilizing both the Lake County contract number 17-0823 and the City of West Palm Beach contract 20600, piggyback 18-020. Extensive environmental laboratory testing is required as a condition of the city's Florida Department of Environmental Protection and Southwest Florida Water Management District operating permits for the water, wastewater, and reclaimed water systems. We require using both contracts for the differing services that will be in play. Most of the required lab services are covered under the West Palm Beach contract. However, the Lake County contract will be utilized for back tees, sulfate, and TDS testing. The total projected annual laboratory services expense citywide are $131,280. Funds are found in 4 separate accounts. Again, staff recommends approval.
I'll make a motion.
Second? Do I have a second?
Second?
Motion and a second. And just for clarity, I know kind of once Al took over as city manager, we started to pull, in most cases, these bid waive requests outside of the consent docket so that they did not get lumped in with everything else, which I think is a great idea. It's a standard practice that goes on throughout the state of, piggybacking on other contracts to get the best deal for our city or any city, so.
Not only that, it also is a huge consumption of staff's time and expense to go through a bid process.
Yes.
And that's part of the benefit
Of piggybacking.
of piggybacking.
I say that because we have another one coming up. Motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Passes 5-0.
Thank you, Mayor. Item 16, waive bid requirements again and award purchase of our 4x4 hydraulic excavator to Great Southern Equipment Company under the same terms, conditions, and pricing as the Florida Sheriff's Association and the Florida Association of Counties contract, FSA-VEH 16.0, piggyback 19-003. The Stormwater Division of the Public Works Department is responsible for maintaining ditches and ponds throughout the city of Oldsmar. In 2007, the city purchased a Kaiser 4x4 walking hydraulic excavator. Several of the major ditches and ponds in the city are inaccessible by standard excavators. The current Kaiser has exceeded its useful life and is inoperable without significant repair. The total price of the Kaiser Model S2 Gator 4x4 walking hydraulic excavator with trade-in will be $322,296. Many of the attachments on the current Kaiser will be kept and are interchangeable with the new unit. Funding is available in the approved fiscal year 19 stormwater capital improvement budget, and staff recommends approval.
Is the mayor gonna bid on the other one to buy it?
That is one of the coolest pieces of equipment that, we think we got, so.
I make a motion to approve.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second.
And they don't last long.
It's been around for a while.
That thing is pretty cool, though.
It's been around since
It's
Veronica
like a
was mayor.
spider.
Even before that?
Yeah.
I thought we got it.
Oh, because he and I were gonna race him when he was mayor.
Did you ever drive it?
No, I haven't driven that thing.
Although that would
I
probably
struggle with
buy
my
some
car.
community swimming pools, I'm just saying.
Oh, to excavate the community pool?
Stop.
You need to start cutting on some funding then. If you don't approve this, look at all the money we got towards the pool.
There you go.
And all the people at your house saying, really?
Yeah.
Well, why is my property
Approve this, we
flooded?
could dig it.
Yeah,
dig
dig
the
it,
pool.
they dig it.
Dig it.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Can you dig it? Thank you, Mayor. Item 17 is what's known as the year-end budget resolution. The requested motion is to adopt Resolution 2018-22, the final budget revision for fiscal year 2017-18, which was completed on September 30th. Attached, please find Resolution 2018-22, the year-end final revision of the budget for fiscal year that just ended. The General Fund, Public Safety Impact Fund, Parkland Dedication Fund, Capital Improvement Fund, and Solid Waste Fund require adjustment at this time. I will read the resolution by title only.
Yes.
Liz.
Am I good, Tom?
Yes.
Resolution 2018-22, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Oldsmar, Florida, revising the budget for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2017, and ending September 30th, 2018, authorizing the city manager and the director of administrative services to revise the existing budget. Mayor, that concludes the reading of Resolution 2018-22 by title only.
Need a motion?
So moved.
Second? Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Yes.
Aye. 5-0.
I did have just a comment.
Oh.
Discussion.
Yeah.
Is it possible, and I'm not really sure how staff could prepare it, but is it possible that in the future, when we get to this point, that somehow we could be provided a comparison as to how those adjustments compared to the previous year?
Certainly.
Just to take a look at, if it's in the normal range of what we typically do.
What would that, okay,
I don't know, I don't know, but let them go take a pass at it.
yeah, what would be the reason for that?
Because if it's a huge adjustment, much greater than normal, then it requires more attention.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes there's something happens, well, I don't mind that, but sometimes during the year, something really happens.
Sure,
And that would be the explanation as to
It's
why.
happened, and it's not. that
It would
can't
just
be-
jump out at
Yeah,
you very
I agree.
quickly, and from a oversight standpoint, it's an easier way to manage it. That's all.
And I think it's no different than what we've done with our budget workshop, is that we compare the numbers and we look at, numbers that are higher, lower, and normally it's sometimes we've moved staff from one place to another, or, we paid off the the reverse osmosis,
I just wanted to compare it to Bruce's numbers, that's all.
Oh,
But seriously, it would be something that you could catch your eye quicker.
Yeah, I think so.
Figure out a way to do it. I don't know that you can.
Anything else?
It would be easy to do. You just take last year's and put it with this year's, and it would be easy to do.
Yeah.
That sounds like a good job for Garrett.
That's what I was gonna say. That.
Yeah, that too.
I was looking for Boy Wonder over here, but he's gone.
I was going home to watch sports.
The boy wonder went home.
Nothing else?
Sir.
Thank you. Next is council comments, and we'll start, I'm sorry. City clerk. Oh, city clerk. Look at that, I just jumped right over you.
I don't have anything but congratulations to all the candidates. They did a really good job qualifying this year.
Awesome.
Except the two that doesn't have to have opponents.
Hey, we've had it before.
We still got our cards signed.
I don't have an opponent.
You're gonna go into shock.
Yeah, I'm going down to Broward to run supervisor elections down there.
We'll all go down there and vote for you.
Yeah, bring a couple votes, would you, please?
Yeah.
Thank you. Council comments, Councilmember Beaverland.
Just a couple, we had a great 11/11/11 veterans ceremony. I mean, it was incredible. And we made this decision some time ago, and I think it was one of the best decisions we made, is that Tom says the prayer.
Yeah, he always do a great job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Everybody have a great Thanksgiving. I know everybody loves turkey except me, and thank you for who you are.
Councilmember McGee?
Yeah, I echo Jerry's comment. It was an honor to speak at the veteran ceremony. I thought Jamie Grant had a wonderful speech. I was very impressed by his speech, actually. Cross-party, I thought it was relatable to everybody. I had a proud moment at Leadership Pinellas this month because we had visited the Clearwater Free Clinic. I don't know if you visited that before. It might have been the first time they had Leadership Pinellas at the new. But again, it was something I didn't know existed. Went in there and just kind of awareness for all of our residents or employees. It's a free clinic for anyone that doesn't have insurance. You just have to be a resident of North Pinellas. They did say they do serve some Oldsmar residents, so I was going to try to get with them just to find out how many they serve. And I asked them, because we're talking about budgeting and finance, I said, does the city of Clearwater contribute? And they said no. And for me, I was quite shocked that this free clinic that's providing an invaluable service to people that have chronic health problems that normally would go into a hospital that we would pay tax dollars for, are going in here and being treated for free. And there's no contributions coming from the city that they're in. So proud moment for me, because I know we absolutely wouldn't let that happen here in the city of Oldsmar. I think we do a really good job supporting our local charitable organizations. But I think it's an opportunity to kind of help work with them to partner better with local cities that could help them from a budgeting standpoint. But I just want to make everyone aware of that service. I thought it was great. And I think certainly I told them they might want to start reaching out to some local businesses that might have employees that maybe don't have insurance or have opted out of insurance, and kind of leveraging it as a benefit to them locally.
Good idea.
So I thought they did a great job. And the last thing I have is just happy Thanksgiving. I hope everyone, if you're traveling, safe travels. And we have a lot to be grateful for.
Yes, we do.
So.
Thank you. Councilmember Saraki.
Thank you, Mayor. I got a couple things. Last week, I attended the Florida League of Cities Symposium on reassessing recycling. I just want to share a quick, sorry, I got a little cold going on here. But I just want to share that now that China is not accepting our recycling, there's going to be some changes to the recycling market. Republic Services are there, and there are other competitors that do garbage waste management, did a presentation on it, and there's going to be some changes. It's unclear as to what's going to happen with recycling because it is a problem in our state, but I just wanted to share that with you. I also attended my municipal administrative meeting, and the number one priority for my group, my team, is short-term rentals, which we really don't have a problem here in the city of Oldsmar. Short-term rentals.
Vacation rentals.
Like a home that's furnished that would be like a hotel. Anyways, the big thing the question was, the biggest problem with short-term rentals in the state is there's a lot of them in our state that are not licensed through the state. So people are running these short-term rentals, but they're not licensed. They don't have the proper license. So that's something that Al and I have talked about. We want to try to find out, maybe there's some in the city of Oldsmar that don't have their licenses. The second, the policy position was medical marijuana. Not really too much going on there, but we're going to keep an eye on that. School resource officers, I think we have that under control with our elementary schools here in Oldsmar. That's not an issue. And the third item was sober homes, which is not really a problem for our city either. On Friday, I attended the advocacy, I'm not good at that word, committee meeting. And this year, we are just gearing up for the legislation session. With Ed Hooper being on board, I plan on meeting with him in Tallahassee and planning again with Jamie Grant. I talked to him at the Veterans Day ceremony on that. The big thing at the conference was Amendment 1 failed. That was huge.
Oh, that was horrible. That was horrible.
No, it wasn't. That saved the state and our city and other cities around the country a lot of money, a lot of tax dollars. It was a tax shift. That was a huge victory for the Florida League of Cities. That was a team effort by all the city council members, mayors around the whole state that got that not to pass. So that was pretty cool. I gave you guys a little pin today, this little pin, and that is this year's theme for the Florida League of Cities, and it's We Live Local. This logo means we live local, shop local, eat local, just do everything local for your city, support your local businesses. That's our theme for this year, to try to just live local. That's all it was. It was really neat. It was actually a good theme.
Amendment 1, governments can't take any credit for that. Don't give the governments credit for that. Give the voters credit.
Right, exactly.
Well, it was the messaging, I think, more than anything that got out
Well,
from everybody.
the voters spoke pretty high.
Well, that's what I mean, but I think it was because they were informed, I think.
Well, the biggest thing at the
Shocked, I gotta tell you.
the biggest thing was that was the only one that did not pass. Everything else passed.
It was close though, from what I remember.
2 points.
Yeah, it almost passed.
That's all right. It didn't though, Gabby.
It didn't. I'm happy it didn't, but
So remember, live local, buy local, eat local. That's the theme this year for the Florida League of Cities.
What does that mean?
Oh, Jerry.
Where that pin?
Local, I don't know, Jerry.
All right, last I have, happy Thanksgiving to all. I have so much to be blessed and thankful for this year. Thank you to all the residents for signing my petition cards and trusting in me to serve the city for another 3 years. This is a great city, and I'm honored to be your council member for 3 more years. Thank you to all the people that signed my petitions. Thank you so much, and happy Thanksgiving to the mayor and the council, and Tom, Al, Kathy, everyone else. Happy Thanksgiving.
Make sure you have an opponent the next time.
I'm sure I will.
it'll probably be Jerry.
He'll be term limited. Yeah, he'll be term limited. You can run for his seat.
What are you saying? He might win.
No, I'm saying you'll be term limited.
Yeah.
Right, I know, but he.
Would you like me to go, Mr.
No,
Mayor? I'm happy to jump in here any minute now. Just
if I could, real quick, to two things that you talked about with the Florida League of Cities, and one is the recycling, and that's been a huge topic. I know the mayor, Blajowski of Dunedin, has really brought that up. They're in a little bit of a different position than us. It's been a big topic at the Mayor's Council. We brought it up to Senator Brandis. We brought it up to Representative Sprawls, and this is a big problem that's facing a lot of us. And he didn't have an answer, only because he'd only been on the job about 4 days. But we brought the topic up to the new county administrator for Pinellas County, and it's definitely something that is going to be here sooner rather than later. And then to the other topic is the vacation rentals, and that's another huge item that again has come up at the mayor's council. Doesn't affect us as much, although we do have a few in the city, believe it or not. But Mayor Cookie Kennedy represents a lot of the beach communities out there, and it's a huge problem out there. And there's a couple items, duration is what they're looking for, occupancy, things that they can regulate. They want to try and repeal what they did about the grandfathering, that it basically wipes out all of your rights. Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
But basically, and again, allow each municipality to rule what's best for them and what works best for them. And as we know, when we were at the League of Cities, there are some horror stories from some of these municipalities that, and I've said this before, but, they advertise occupants of 40 and 50 people in their house and all the things that go along with that. And from the Tourist Development Council, a couple of the issues are the licensing and that they don't have to go through all the hoops that a hotel has to go through for inspections and regulations and everything. They don't have to go through any of that, so much less the tax dollar collection. So we need to stay on both those items and really push that is something that we regulate here. And I think with maybe some of the new leadership, we'll get that. I'm not 100% sure yet. I think a couple bodies are trying to draft some.
Most of that's gonna have to come out of Tallahassee.
Yeah, well, we got it, but it's got to come from us,
totally.
and a lot of the groups are trying to. I know Forward Pinellas is trying to put together some initial verbiage on what they would like to see, and try and get a consensus on what we as a county would like to see them consider. Senator Brandis has talked about this at the Mayor's Council, and he keeps saying, bring us some verbiage, but I think he's pretty adamant against giving the control back to us. So anyway, I apologize, but those are two
That's
things
right.
we do need to keep really hammering those down.
Mary, I just want to share one story real quick. At the recycling event, I guess the plastic bags is our number one enemy.
We're not gonna solve that either.
Yeah, well, the plastic bags, people are recycling them and they're not recyclable. So what happened was they got stuck in the conveyor belt, the recycler system, and it started a fire. It burned the whole machine and it was down. So
and the fact that it's a commodity, they're not a commodity anymore. And I've said this before, but recycling of today is not the recycling that it was 10, 15 years ago when the majority of that stuff was going in the landfill. This is my personal opinion. To me, if you are turning it into energy and burning it, to me, that is a form of recycling. I hate to say it, but if you're taking something the size of this room and returning it, into ash in this thing and generating energy, to me, that's a form of recycling. And if you ever watch Plastic China, and those kids that are over there, and I've said this before, it's sickening what they go through over there when we were sending all that over there. So anyway, that's my 2 cents.
That's it.
Vice Mayor?
On that subject, you realize though that a lot of places in China, like I've been there and visited different factories, and sometimes when we do a comparison of their living conditions, it's not always a good comparison because they're good conditions and they're good factories in many cases are not good conditions. I'm just mentioning it because I've literally toured factories over there in the past. So when you said that, it just, something that always stuck with me after I walked around. Yes, Mr. Mayor, I do have a couple of items. Number one, and I know we talked about it briefly up here, and I recognize there's nothing that the city can actually do, but I'm just putting it out as information for any of our citizens who see this. As you probably know, the Tampa Bay ski show team is losing their location over at Tower Lake. That is a private piece of property. The city doesn't own it. We don't control it. We don't have any say over it, unfortunately. Trying to help them in terms of contacting the ownership or the CEO of the company. What a surprise, he's not returning my call. But, assisting them. If anybody knows of a lake, and, we of course want them to stay here in Oldsmar, but they're looking for really kind of any place at this point. That might be desirable for them, reach out to me and I'll make sure I put you together with them. But any help that we can give them, I know they'd greatly appreciate it. And it's going to be sad to see them go, quite honestly.
And if I could, just real quick, Felicia and I met with them 6 weeks ago maybe, or 2 months ago, and we really did try to find something. And, just for discussion purposes, a few of the lakes that we have are somewhat in a residential neighborhood. You don't need a high-speed power boat going by. There were a couple other options that just didn't work for them, and it's an unfortunate situation that the current landlord would not continue the agreement.
Well, and the funny thing is, the company that owns the lands, they're a public company, so they do have a division that does a lot of community service. And really the approach at this point is to say, hey, it's no skin off your back.
Yeah.
They've
got all
why
the
not
coverages.
position this a little differently in any event, but who knows? It's worth a shot. Ann and Kathy, kudos to you for the Citizens Academy again, another year, really. The work that you guys do in it, I love this part that you added to it of there being an opportunity for a council member to get to know the group in a more, smaller, environment. I think that that's a nice added touch. And I enjoyed being over there the other night. It was a lot of fun, even though I went past my 13 minutes that I planned. But it was that one troublemaker. Which one was that? She's not here, of course. Was it Mary Beth? Mary Beth? Yeah. Anyhow, Veterans Day, what a great program, as always. My observation of that day, and I tend to look at things sometimes tactically, only because we're involved as the team. It's like sometimes we work on stuff, we still get to enjoy the program, but we're part of the program. So, it's kind of a different dynamic. So I think that this team really works well together and has, our roles in it for a while, and I'm guilty of it too, absolutely. We kind of went too long collectively, which took away from the mayor, the guest speaker, and I think we I don't know, we tightened it up. I don't know the right way to say it, but we kind of tightened it up, and yet everybody did it in a way that I thought was really spot on, and so in any event, I thought it was a terrific program, and I noticed that with the team. I thought the mayor's speech was outstanding. I think they did a really good job. Walk to School Day. Let's see, who? Felicia
Al.
and Al. We walked to school that day.
I could have done the original. I had Great American Teaching in Hillsborough, otherwise.
And I filled in as vice mayor. I went, and just to show what a great student I was, I went an hour early by mistake.
Yeah.
So I was standing in the park going, something's wrong here. So anyhow, that was a really nice.
He texts me and goes, there's nobody here.
I don't think those were my exact words because it was still dark out. I'm like, something's wrong. Anyhow, I want to congratulate Dan. I know you're one of the hardest working council members we have up here, and I'm sure that the citizens recognize that, and possible opponents too. So congratulations to you, and also I'll say thank you to the citizens who encouraged me to run, and thank you to the citizens who didn't run, because I appreciate both of them. Thank you, Jerry. Anyhow, all joking aside, I'm excited about it. At the same time, I'm also very focused and committed to finishing this current cycle as vice mayor and supporting our mayor to a strong finish. And the one thing I've learned to do in a very short weekend since qualifying on Friday, because people are like, "Hey, mayor," I'm like, "I'm not mayor," right? Technically, I'm not mayor-elect until we accept the results at the next meeting, if I'm correct, right? So whatever, I'm a little technical. But here's what I have learned to do.
Expect a negative vote.
Well, Jerry, your vote was already cast. No, I'm giving you I have learned to do this. When someone starts to complain, I say, call the mayor. So I'm enjoying that. And last, I just want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. I had some of you who know me personally, and I lost a good friend a couple weeks ago. I don't even think it's been a couple weeks yet, but 40 years. Went to high school together. It was unexpected, and you start to think about Thanksgiving and what matters, and those types of things. And so I want to thank those who reached out and expressed their condolences. And then today, I spent some time with a friend that I've had for about a year. And we got to know each other through a trainer at UFC. We were both fighting there, and this kid could fight. I mean, this kid he's 37 years old, and he's like a rock, you know, and quick, and has brain cancer. And he's at the end of his battle, and we got to spend some time talking at hospice, and he grew up here in Oldsmar. And Justin Destrada, his family, I've been there a few times and spent time with his parents, and I don't know, keep him in your prayers. He's at the end of his battle. And so I just hope that for everybody, the Thanksgiving, that they take that moment to sit back and just kind of think how grateful we should all be for what we have, and also think about those who are going through those types of things. So I hope that it's kind of a special Thanksgiving for everybody.
Well said.
Mayor,
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Me or him?
he's not there yet.
Oh, okay.
Is there still time to get petitions up to run from there?
Oh, shit.
Be thankful every day.
Yeah.
I've lost 2 sons and a great granddaughter every day, not just from Thanksgiving, every day. Thank you. Blessings, and please remember Kathy. Is it 2 weeks, Kathy?
8 days.
Pardon me?
Next week.
8 days, 9 days.
Her husband goes into a major surgery. Major surgery. It could have happened to me. Thank God it didn't happen to me. It's happening to her. Keep her in your thoughts. And I used to walk this. Let me tell you something. When I was a kid, I had to walk 2 miles to school in the snow.
Uphill, both ways, barefoot.
In Oldsmar.
Yeah, Oldsmar.
It was uphill both ways.
Yeah, I just said that, Jerry. Along with the rest of the program here, but anyway. Ditto to everybody. Ann and Kathy, thank you for all your help. I think the Citizens Academy continues to grow and shine, and I think the Veterans Day, I think your point is well taken. In years past, recently, we've had some that went really long, and to be honest, we're focused because we're there and we have to be, but I've got ADHD, and even sometimes I kind of zone off when but I think
Say
we do.
something?
Yeah, but I do think we keep it well and pointed and on topic and all of that, and
If only our meetings could be that way.
yeah, if only our meetings could be that.
Point of order.
So, anyway, Thanksgiving coming up, I'm spending it with my family. Hope you're spending it with somebody special or going somewhere or doing something nice. It is a heavily traveled day, so be extra careful and things like that. So, don't really have anything else. I'm excited about Burbank. Hopefully we can get that going and see some progress on that. I think from a legislative perspective, I think Pinellas County really fared well from a continuity standpoint of being able to hopefully get some things accomplished, this year and in coming years. So I just hate the fact that, again, Florida's the laughing stock again, but it always seems to happen. So anyway, having said that, and so that I can say that I served on city council with Mayor Seidel, can you drive us home, please?
My pleasure. Meeting adjourned.